Hello and thank you for joining us on the Thursday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Binga Oreshegun. Today on the program, we examine the economic challenges facing Nigeria at 64. Wanted Bandits leader Bello Turji tells federal government that he is not afraid to die, but demands for dialogue. And later on the show, seeking to address the high cost of living, federal government removes VAT on diesel, cooking gas, electric cars and others. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Utitoju and Adekunle Yusuf. Journalist Hangout starts right now. Now let's begin the conversation. In over 6 decades of independence, Nigeria's statehood has been defined by moments of significant achievements and challenges across key sectors. One of the most pressing sectors requiring urgent intervention is the economy. President Bola Tinubu, in his 64th independence anniversary speech, acknowledged economic hardship facing Nigerians and emphasized the need for transformative policies. The president reiterated his administration's commitment to fostering a stronger and more diversified economy with particular focus on reducing inflation and ensuring better living standards for all citizens. Now let's bring the conversation home. BKO, let's start this way. When Nigeria gained independence, my history book told me that in 1960, a GDP was placed at $4.20 billion with a per capita income of $93. In the area of economy, BKO, where have we fared so far? Will you say we are on the right path, or where did we get it wrong, really?
Yeah, I think that when we put everything together, you cannot give a pass mark to Nigerian leaders in the area of the economy because our problem, our history is replete with lost opportunities in the area of the economy. We are doing very well as a country, making so much money from cash crops. You know, today, tea is Kenya's biggest foreign exchange earner. Today, Ethiopia exports plenty of flowers to countries in Europe and America.
Flowers,
yes,
daisies, and all.
Every day, fresh roses and all that. They created what we call aeropolis. Aeropolis are airports located in rural areas.
Okay.
Those are the production belts. They created those airports in those places, and from there they freight those fresh flowers, fresh tomatoes and all that.
Like an cargo airport.
They are cargo airports located in rural areas. That's why they called them aeropolis. So this is something that they've done for so long, exporting flowers fresh to countries of Europe and America. And they have their clients. Kenya consistently makes good money from tea. It's one of the biggest producers of tea in the world. Côte d'Ivoire exports plenty of cocoa.
For chocolate.
Yes, you can say that they ought to improve in the area of the value chain because
yes, exactly.
Switzerland makes far more money from chocolates than Côte d'Ivoire that produces its
the cocoa pods.
So I'm saying that in those days, Nigeria was rated among the best third world countries. Okay. We were in the same class with Malaysia, with Singapore, with Brazil, but everyone has left us behind. And the bulk of the money that we were making at that time, which made our currency strong, was from agriculture. Those estates that Awolowo built, those bridges, cocoa house, the money that Awolowo used came largely from agriculture and taxation because they improved the efficiency of tax collection. So the mainstay of the Western regional economy was agriculture as well as taxation. But the moment crude oil came, we relegated agriculture. All of the policies that successive governments came up with to drive growth of agriculture were never fully implemented. Even some of the loans that banks were as part of the agri-growth strategy, the loans that were supposed to go to farmers, banks were discouraged because people were defaulting.
Okay, defaulting in the
yes, people were defaulting like we witnessed
in the
aspect of Anchor. It's not a new thing.
So it's been
there since the 70s. People will default. So, but I'm saying that as a country, we dropped the ball because we felt, look, crude oil was a much more convenient way of making money as a country. We should have focused a lot. Look at how much money you can ridicule Zimbabwe, but what Zimbabwe makes from maize, what they make from maize, is tremendous. It holds the country. And it's not all bad news for Zimbabwe anyway. Look at what Israel and Denmark, what they've done in the area of agriculture, the money they make. Denmark, for example, the money and Holland, what they make from livestock.
Yeah, exactly.
We have the potential to make good money from all of these sources of income.
Now, what is stopping us from going back to agriculture? Should we improve more?
I'm saying countries, successful governments, again, I've talked about diversifying. But only half-hearted measures have been made in that regard, again, because of
the black gold.
President Tinubu was talking about pushing governors to say, okay, you people need to do a lot more in the area of agriculture. We have been talking about it for a long time. The lands belong to the state governments.
Okay.
Governors are much more interested in building overhead bridges,
airports,
overhead bridges, even in places where there's not so much vehicular traffic, than commit a lot of money to agriculture. They're just not prepared, because you give a contract to a big-time contractor now, he's going to give you kickback. Agriculture, you are not likely to get that kind of kickback.
So they weigh their options.
So they focus on what is very convenient rather than what is difficult. And now look at where we are. If we had truly diversified our economy, since the time I was in the university when it was so much noise, diversify the economy. But what have we seen? No serious effort to even implement. It's not as if we've not been coming up with agri programs. We've been coming up with so many programs. Obasanjo, for example, had Operation Feed the Nation. But
nothing really concrete came out.
Yeah. We had Green Revolution by Shagari. And what we didn't know is that if we focus a lot on agriculture, there are opportunities there. Israel, that has not got so much arable land, you see what they've done, converting their deserts to arable land, and they are doing so well. God has blessed us with arable land, but we've not cultivated up to 15% of the country's entire arable land. Even on our mountains are fertile. You see trees. Yes, you see trees grow on mountains here. So everywhere we can farm. And through agriculture, in spite of the neglect still contributes the most to our
So
GDP.
the only thing is the political will from the governors to do.
Everybody, even the central government,
Okay, the
they need
central.
to, yes, they need to say, okay, this is what we want to do. Focus on it. Because, look, our GDP has been declining. In 2014, it was 510 billion when the economy was rebased.
Yes. Okay.
Now it has come down to 252 billion. Unemployment is so high. More than 233 million Nigerians at this time. Half of that population cannot feed itself. The hunger index, Nigeria is ranked 109 out of 125 countries in the area of hunger index, and we can't even generate electricity sufficiently. If you cannot cause growth to happen in the area of electricity generation, then don't expect that you'll be able to make real growth and development happen in the area of the economy, because the SMEs that are the real drivers of economic growth, they can't find electricity to use.
True.
So that is why, look, we have to take the matter of diversification of the economy seriously, and we have to put wealth in people's hands. When you put wealth in people's hands, the GDP itself will grow. If there's rampant unemployment, how do you expect economic growth to happen?
I agree with you. All right, Adekunle Yusuf, let's talk about Nigeria's currency. Because in 1973, when we changed from the British pound to Naira, I was told, my history, because I wasn't born then, that Nigeria's Naira and the dollar was almost standing apart, Nigeria and the pound. How did we get it so bad that the Naira is now exchanging for close to 1,007? How did we get to this point from that?
It's a lot of factors, but most of it, we should blame ourselves.
Ourselves?
Yes, because at some point, the Naira was stronger than the dollar. Yes, the Naira used to be stronger than the dollar.
What were the reasons for that?
Okay, the reasons for that was, the reasons were many, but some of them we will mention in the course of this conversation. You see, in those days, you see many manufacturing companies in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Go to the north.
The textile industry.
Go to Kano. Go to Kaduna. You will be sorry for Nigeria. You will see all these premises, hundreds, of companies that have closed shops. Many of them 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So before, Nigeria, the textile industry in Nigeria alone, what it was contributing to the economy in terms of employment generation, paying taxes, a lot of things. Where are they now? If you go from textile industry, today Nigeria has, I think, over 100 pharmaceutical companies.
Okay.
But as we speak, there's what they call medicine insecurity.
You're talking
what
about
that means is that the vast majority of medicines we need as a country, like 80%, we import. That we import the value of your currency.
Of the currency.
You will not believe it. Going from sector to sector to sector to sector, as bad as it, Nigeria imports from Benin Republic, from Togo, from Ghana, include pineapples, oranges, coconuts, things that ordinarily should be readily available.
Now, you talked about these companies, the textile. What made them go down under? Is it government policies?
Yes, government policies. Government policies. We have a climate where, what they call, is it inconsistencies?
Flip-flop.
You come, this is what you want. When it's
Another
my turn.
administration comes and
So many of the things you do, you'll be able to do. I remove some of them when I came, or even everything. So Nigeria has been unstable in terms of economy environment. When you look at the policy environment, it has been a flip-flop, all over. So many of the policies, require some gestation period to materialize.
Okay.
You can mention some of them in the power sector, for example. So many people. So when you look, why are we here? We are here because we haven't done the right things. Some of the right things. Today, he was talking about, agriculture. That's the best. That's, in fact, when you say, when they say countries and comparative advantage, that is what God has given to us. The land is there. Have you been to the north?
Yeah, I've only been.
See, Borno alone can feed Nigeria, just one state. The fish resources in Borno, you will be amazed. Yeah, because you have the notion that it's in the north, that the river resources, the oil resources in Borno alone is enough.
Now, talking about our currency, how do we bring it back to strength?
Okay, to strengthen, number one, we have to go into manufacturing. Okay. Yes, without a vibrant manufacturing industry. In the food industry, how much of it do we produce in Nigeria? So the value chains within this sector, for example, when you harvest your tomato, he talked about, agriculture. If you produce tomato, its life, span is very short. The bulk of it gets spoiled.
Okay, post-harvest losses.
When you talk about watermelon, the bulk of it, it's wasted. You can go on and on and on. And this is a country with huge population. Where are the manufacturing hubs in Nigeria? As we used to have them. Where are they today? So why are the companies packing up? Where are the Dunlops? So we come to electricity. In a country where you want economic, prosperity, since independence, what have we achieved in the electricity sector? We're talking about 3,000 megawatts, 3,000 megawatts, and it's the same story from administration to administration. So it has not even improved.
All right, BK, still talking about the currency. We need to strengthen it. What should be done to take us back to that time when Naira and the dollar can, stand together? I can't believe in a world that Nigeria and Naira and Sefa.
That is the most embarrassing of all, because in those days when we were growing up, I remember that the countries around us, people used to come and buy electronics here
and take it to their country.
We were a thriving country. We were doing very well. People who come from Togo on exchange programs, when they are going, you see, they will buy plenty of electronics. Now, we had pharmaceutical concerns that were doing very well. We had vehicle assemblies in this country.
Volkswagen, Peugeot.
The pharmaceutical companies were doing well. We had plenty of them. But look at how many of them have left Nigeria. The structural adjustment program that Babangida introduced led to the death of many of these companies, especially the textile companies. Okay. The textiles outside of government and agriculture, textile provided the highest number of jobs.
Okay.
In Kaduna at that time, I was living in Kakuri. We were literally surrounded by textile farms. In Kaduna, you had KTL, you had UNTL, you had Arewa Textiles, where Oshomole came from. Arewa Textiles. Where are they today? We allowed them. Even Dangote had the 4th biggest textile company in our country. I remember walking up to Dangote at the old Protea Hotel. I said, why did you shut down your textile company?
Oh, you did ask?
Why not? I even still have the picture when we were existing. He looked at me contemptuously And he said, oh, I thought you were my friend. He said, why will I keep the textile company when the biggest smugglers in our country are friends of people in government?
Oh dear.
Yeah. Smuggling literally killed those textile companies because Nigerians will prefer the smuggled products to our own, apart from the problems that they had created by the economic policies. We allowed, there was lack of protectionism, and we allowed, you see Akosombo, you see all kinds of textiles coming into our country. Whereas UNTL, Aswani, when you even wash their fabrics,
it won't bleed.
You won't use it for years. You still see it will still look as good as new. But we never believed in our own stuff. Textile will come from Ghana, we will jump at it. It will come from Cote d'Ivoire, we will jump at it. Invariably, people were not buying the local ones. That was the excuse that Dangote gave to me at that time.
So Nigerians themselves are sharing this blame.
Because you must protect your local industries.
You must protect it.
You see the way Trump and others try to protect the steel industry in the US. Say, no, if we don't do this, our people will suffer. Jobs will be lost.
Okay.
All countries, now they are trying to protect, even again, some are moving against China to say, no, we will limit the number of electric vehicles coming from China into our country because you need to protect your local industries. Instead, we watch those local industries die, only to now be taken over by churches. A lot of those big textile, a lot of those big companies, their warehouses have been remodeled and converted to churches. That is what is happening. I'm not, as a Christian, I'm not against propagation of the faith, but this is the reality. You are not going to tell me not to say it.
Do you believe?
This is the truth?
Imported products are cheaper than Nigerian products. Why? Because the policies here don't encourage cheap. By the time you value high cost of electricity, so before you know it, so for example, pharma industry, many people in that industry prefer to go and import because they can make.
Are you aware now that Adire, Chinese, they are sending Adire to Nigeria?
Yes,
it will never be as good as our own. No. They are now saying, the governor of Ogun was complaining the other day. Chinese are flooding our country with Adire.
Do you know Chinese are doing gari now?
Yes, palm oil that we introduced the palm kernel seed to now we are importing palm oil into our country. Processed palm oil.
All right, gentlemen. Let's move straight to another topic. Amidst Nigeria's protracted war against escalating insecurity, notorious bandit leader